Alright guys, so today I have 3 teams for y'all against Heavenly Demon 1 in Garp Challenges. If there's a new player out there who hasn't completed Garp Challenges yet, they're a great way to get gems, great way to increase your team building ability. So these are 3 side teams. The first team is led by Luffy Zoro Sanji. Most of the team is free to play because we get a lot of good free to play Psy units early in the game. We obviously get the Psy Straw Hats as well as this Psy Eneru, which you get from the panel missions, I believe. You get when you're trying to get a good Rumble team, they give it to you for free. The Sentomaru is a rare recruit. So for the first stage, you just have to kill the enemy that has the same typing as you, and they're gonna give you full cooldown on all of your specials. Now moving on to stage 2, we get 7 turns of despair and the enemy has a delay immunity. To get around the despair, we're going to launch Sentomaru special. He will remove 5 turns of despair. So you do need to have 2 turns of despair removal in your sockets. You don't need to have all 3, just 2 is fine because Sentomaru will remove 5. He'll also give an increased damage taken, and if you hit 3 perfects, then he'll give increased damage taken in the next stage as well. That's going to help with your damage. Once you launch Sentomaru special, you can just kill the enemy. Make sure to launch 3 perfects at least. Then the next stage against Rebecca, we are inflicted with 3 turns of paralysis. The enemy has 3 turns of defense up and also delay immunity. Delay immunity is common throughout the entire stage, but we're not going to be using delay, so that's okay. To get around the defense up, we're going to be using Frankie's special. He removes 5 turns of defense up and damage reduction, and also gives a color affinity if Luffy is on the crew, which he is a captain. Also we're going to use Eneru special. He removes the paralysis. Eneru is really useful for this first because we are inflicted with paralysis twice, and he's a free to play character, gets rid of paralysis, so that's great. He also gives color affinity, but it's not important. And once you launch both the specials, you have the increased damage taken, so it's just the captain ability of Luffy Zoro Sanji is so powerful, you can just get through it. This next stage isn't really anything, but make sure to get rid of the characters with only 1 turn of cooldown because they do hit very hard. Just hit as hard as possible. If possible, hit with Eneru last because he actually does end of turn damage with his special ability. So if you hit very strong with Eneru, he'll just wipe out the rest of the characters as well. There's nothing special on this stage, just tap with your characters and you'll get through it. Okay. Next stage, we are inflicted with 7 turns of despair again, and Bartolomeo has a 20 hit barrier for 2 turns. There are a couple of characters that get rid of barrier, but I wanted to make this as free to play as possible, only if you have Luffy Zoro Sanji. So we are going to use the Robin to get rid of the despair. She removes 5 turns of despair. She also decreases enemy defense by 80% and gives us a conditional boost. That's a lot of damage. And we're going to be using the EX super of Luffy. It's not very important. It gives us a color affinity boost. We don't have color affinity, but just the EX super in general gives us a lot of damage. Now attacking with these characters, make sure that your last character is Luffy Zoro Sanji or Eneru because Eneru does extra end of turn damage as well. Now in stage 6 against Treble, we are inflicted with 3 turns of paralysis. Our target is locked to Treble and the 3 enemies behind him have high defense. So you have to take out Treble first because you are locked. To get rid of the paralysis, we're going to be using Luffy Zoro Sanji special. I'm performing the action special here. It's not required, it's just extra damage, and with this team you have a bunch of damage. You don't need extra damage, but you can do it if you want to. So Luffy Zoro Sanji gives an attack on Orb boost, removes a paralysis. That's going to be all the damage we need, especially since we also have color affinity. It's an int unit, we're a Psy unit, and the rest of the characters also, they'll go down very easily. Now for the last stage, the boss stage, it doesn't really do anything. It has very limited effects. All it does is remove beneficial effects. The int enemy and the quick enemy at the back have very high defense, so they might survive 1 hit or 2. And Doflamingo, when he hits his 3 turn cooldown, he's gonna inflict a death hit. So he will kill you no matter the health you have, and no matter what damage reduction you have, because he also removes your beneficial effects before he deals the death hit. Launching Luffy Zoro Sanji special for extra damage. You can do the action special, it will help. And we're also going to be using the EX Super for a full board of orbs and color affinity. We don't really have color affinity except for that one unit, but it's still good enough. And now we just tap with our units, and that's going to be the Heavenly Demon 1 done. The next team here is with Versus Law. So Versus Law is a really good captain. He gets rid of 10 turns of despair with his captain ability. That's why I'm using him. Because we are inflicted with this despair twice in this quest, we don't need to have extra crewmates. This crew is also completely free to play. That Kuzan you also get free to play, I believe, when doing the Rumble panel mission, same as Enru. So the crewmates are completely free to play. The only character you need to have is Versus Law. Again, just tap on the unit with the same color as yours. He'll give you the special cooldown. Again on stage 2, inflicted with 7 turns of despair, but Law completely gets rid of it with his captain ability, makes him so good for this quest. And you just need to tap, just make sure to get all of your perfects because the damage is a little tight on this. So as long as you hit 6 perfects, I think you should be okay. Next turn, 3 turns of paralysis, 3 turns of defense up. We're going to be removing the paralysis with Eneru again. He's just a great character for this Sai unit, free to play. Gets rid of the paralysis. So actually the Nami and the Eneru with their crewmates both get rid of 1 turn of paralysis with their crewmate abilities. So you actually only need 1 more extra turn, but still we're going to be using the Eneru special. It is important to use the specials because of Versus Law to charge his Versus effect gauge. He charges his gauge for by 3 every time someone on the crew uses a special. So the more specials you use, the faster he is going to fill up his gauge. We're using Versus Law special here so because he sets the defense to 0 and gives us an orb boost. That just gives us all the damage we need to take down Rebecca. Next stage, stage 4, like I said, not much here. You can just tap with your units, and with the previous boost from Versus Law special and Eneru special, you're just gonna get through this no problem. On the 5th stage, again Despair and Barrier. We launch Kuzan special here. The thing with Kuzan special is that if you have him level limit broken, then he will charge his own special again. But I don't have a level limit broken, so he needs to consume 20 orbs to charge his special again. It would be really good to charge his special again because then we can use it on the final stage to get another attack boost. But unfortunately, he's still good enough as is. Gives us a 3-turn attack boost, full board of orbs. We're also going to use Zoro special to give us an orb boost. We're doing this because we can only actually tap with one character, 1 or 2 characters, because of the barrier. Obviously, if you have a character that can get rid of barriers, just use them. One character is 10th Annie Shanks. He gets rid of 3 turns of barriers. There's also a rare recruit Hold'em that gets rid of 3 turns of barriers. You can use either one of them and you don't need to use boosting special. You can just get rid of the barrier and save the boosting special for the final stage. Penultimate stage, again paralysis. Another reason why Law is so good for this quest is because of his Versus effect removes 6 turns of paralysis. So you can just use his Versus effect here and nothing else, and he gets rid of the paralysis and boosts the attack boost that we have. And you can just tap with your characters, especially because we have color affinity against Treble. This stage is not going to be very difficult with any of our teams. The final stage, again not much going on. It does remove all of our beneficial effects. There is one key thing about this team is that the Nami needs to have a Luffy support. Doesn't matter which Luffy, any Luffy is fine. Just attach a Luffy support to Nami, because Nami inflicts the enemy with paralysis, but only gives us the paralysis conditional boost if Luffy is set as a support or on the crew. We don't have Luffy on the crew, that's why Luffy is set as a support. I've just used the free to play Luffy, he gives us some stats, that's all. So we're going to be using versus law special, gives us the orb boost, defense down, Nami now to inflict them with paralysis and to give us a paralysis conditional boost. Then we're going to use versus law versus effect just to give us a full board of orbs. Now it might take a turn or two depending on what character you're targeted, but try to target the high defense enemies, the enemies with 1 turn cooldown and Doflamingo, because you need the damage to get rid of Doflamingo and the conditional boost only lasts for 1 turn. Here you see I target the front 2 enemies, then the back one, and then I try to kill Doflamingo. The last team today is if you pull both Nami and Luffy Zoro Sanji, and we're also using Shanks and Buggy here. Shanks and Buggy is good, they also get rid of paralysis. It's just a paralysis removal unit. The Eneru obviously free to play, used him in all 3 teams today. The Brook is also free to play, you don't need to have him limit break expanded to get his double special. Just 1 special is enough. Yeah, the Brook is not important, you can replace him with any unit that gets rid of barriers because they're gonna be better for the Bartolomeo stage. This team has so much damage in the final stage, you don't need more damage. A unit that can get rid of barriers would be helpful. You can use 10 tiny Shanks, he gets rid of 3 turns of barriers, but we're using Shanks and Buggy here. Of course you can replace Shanks and Buggy with any unit that gets rid of paralysis and they're gonna work fine. The reason we're using Nami as the captain is because she gets rid of 3 turns of Bind and Despair as a captain. So if you're using double Nami, that's 6 turns of Despair that she gets rid of, and you only need 1 turn of Despair removal with your sockets. So that just completely gets rid of stage 2's Despair. You just hit 6 perfects and you get through it, we have the damage. On turn 3, we're gonna launch Eneru special. First we switch Buggy and Shanks almost every turn. We're gonna switch Shanks to Buggy because he has the Dex typing, so he's super effective against Rebecca, but not really required. We're gonna launch Eneru special to get rid of the paralysis. Next we're gonna launch Nami special to get rid of the defense up. She removes 7 turns of defense up and damage reduction and gives us a full board of orb. And because she's a multi-stage special, launching her now means we can get her stage 1 special ready for the final turn or the final stage. For this stage, again, don't really need to do anything, just tap with all your characters and you have way too much damage, just honestly overkill. Just tap with your characters, nothing really to worry about in this stage. On this stage against Bartolomeo, again Nami removes 6 turns of Despair combined, so we don't need to worry about the Despair. We're gonna launch Nami's EX Super here just to give us a slight bit extra damage. If you have a matching slot in Eneru, try to tap on him last because he'll deal extra damage with his special ability. Here I tapped to them first, so I didn't actually kill Bartolomeo in 1 turn, but that's easily possible if you hit with Eneru last and he has a matching slot. Moving on to stage 6, again 3 turns of paralysis and lock target. So we're gonna swap with Shanks and Buggy and launch their special. That's gonna get rid of the paralysis, and also they give us a color affinity boost. Color affinity is really good because the treble is an int unit and we are all Psi. That's gonna make us easily be able to get through this stage. Also, we're gonna launch Brook special because he does 50,000 fixed damage that can get rid of the enemies at the back. Again, not required. It's not required at all. You can replace him with someone that gets rid of barriers. It's gonna be better for the Bato stage. But I had Brook, might as well toss him on. He's a free-to-play character. The final stage gets rid of all your beneficial effects, but here we have so much damage like we couldn't care less. Luffy Zoro Sanji special gives us a massive attack and massive orb boost. Because we have 4 Straw Hat characters, they also give a couple other buffs. One important thing to note is that Nami's captain ability of removing Bind and Despair only works if you have 4 Straw Hat characters on the crew. Then we have 2 Namis, Luffy Zoro Sanji and Brook. That's why the captain ability works. So you can replace Brook, but try to replace him with the Straw Hat, because otherwise Nami's captain ability won't work of removing Bind and Despair. We're gonna launch Nami special, which gives us a full board of orbs, gives us weakened status. We're gonna use the other Nami special that's on stage 1. She's gonna give us increased damage taken, and launching Nami's EX super. We can also trigger the super tandem of Nami by tapping with the Straw Hats and Nami. This will also activate the super tandem boost of Luffy Zoro Sanji, giving us so much damage, so much extra damage. It's just overkill extreme. So this is my 3 teams for Heavenly Demon 1. I'll come up with the other colors soon. If you have any questions, be sure to ask them in the comment section down below. I'll be sure to answer every single one of them. Subscribe for more Treasure Cruise content. Thank you.